Good morning, guys, and welcome to FYI. A very good morning to each and every one of you. Guys, we trust that you all are great this morning. We trust that you all are well. It's another busy morning at our end, an extra busy morning because there is Parliament on today in just about an hour or so. And so we've been prepping for the show and we've been prepping to be a part of the National Assembly when it sits in about it's time. So it's an extra busy morning for us at this end, guys. A very good morning to all of you, wherever you all are joining us from. Welcome to FYI for your information. We hope that you guys are great. Horace, we see you there, and Edward Brooms, Debbie Collins, all the technicians who are on duty this morning. Do let us know if you're receiving us loud and clear. Edward Brooms, we see you, Edward, and thanks for holding for us. Claire Alexis, Charmley, Richmond. We didn't want, even though we have Parliament very early this morning, not to have a morning show. And so it's been a balancing act on those fronts. But we're happy that you guys are here with us. We got a couple of things we want to share with you before we get out of y'all face, so y'all can go ahead and have a good rest of the day. Osman and Debbie and Magnell Barrow, how y'all doing, good folks? Thanks for joining us this morning. Magnell, Diane Fordyce is here with us, and Shauna, technician Shauna Fortune says loud and clear. The technician is on duty, loud and clear. Michael Thorne is checking in from Florida. Michael, thanks for checking in with us this morning. A big shout out to you, Michael Thorne, joining us from Florida. You know, it's you folks who are in the diaspora, like Michael and Claire and Beatrice and all the other folks in the diaspora, is you all help us to be able to say, welcome to our international morning program. Is you all help us to be able to say that. But good to see each and every one of you folks. The day is now underway. I know some of you have been up for hours. Thanks for being here. Heather Rowe, good to see you there, Heather. Bella Mona, good to see you as well. My lips are a little dry this morning. It's in the AC. What's happening there? You're a little hungry too. Selena Fraser, the one and only, folks. Selena's been one of our favorite people. She's been one of our number one fans. Selena's been with us from day one for a long time, and really has helped us to stay on air. Thank you. Thanks for all that you do for our program, Selena. Patricia Asana, we see there as well. Patricia and Jennifer. All the other folks, guys, y'all know there's so many of you who are special to us. Y'all are always here, always sharing, always commenting, always supporting us with your love and your generosity. Thank you. And good morning. Guys, it's the 10th day of May already. We almost at half month. Believe it or not, with the time running going, in some instances, we're happy that the time is running out on us. In some instances, Rhonda Gordon, we see you there, and Stephen Collins. Good to have you. Magnell Barrow, good to have you as well. Folks, a couple of weeks ago, I kind of slammed my finger in the car door. I was rushing to do something, slammed my finger in the car door, and now it's shedding one nail, and another one is emerging. Scientists believe that we shouldn't die because the body is able to repair itself in this way. But the finger looks so ugly. Looks so ugly. I'm very conscious of how it looks. Very, very ugly. Vanessa De Silva and Jennifer Griffith, we hope that you guys are great. Gail Alicock, we hope that you're well, and all the other guys joining us. Jennifer says, cherish your loved ones. Yep. In life, brothers and sisters, Jennifer says, cherish. Jennifer Griffith, cherish your loved ones. Amen to that. Amen to that, Jennifer. Paula Hawk and Kippins is here with us. And Eula Lafferman Rubens, is here with us too. Lynn Fernandes. Lynn, how you doing? Folks like Lynn in the diaspora, is always generous with our program. Lynn, thank you so much. We love the community we have here. We love the community. It's like we open we window, we say morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. We're happy to have you folks here. Though some of you are thousands of miles away, you all make the difference in our day. And it's not even about us in some instances. It's about y'all. Y'all come, and whether we have a show or not, y'all begin chatting there. I believe that if we don't even have nothing up, if all we have is the logo, You know, if all we have is the logo, you would still be here chatting in spite of we. You would just go on talking. It's not even about us. We're just happy to be facilitators of the process. You know, we just happy in that very small regard to have done our bit. It's not even about we. You think you understand? It's not even about we. You know, you would just go on chatting. But folks, we are delighted that you all are here. We are super excited that you all are here. Yesterday there was a protest outside the GCom. We're still demanding a clean voters list. How many of you with us with that? Still demanding a voters list, a clean voters list, still demanding biometrics. You know, the PPP and us seem to have wanted the same thing at least at one point. At least at one point, it seems as though we wanted the same thing. But them boys, oh Lord, you can't pin them down to nothing. You see? You can't pin them down to, you see, y'all have gone on chatting, we have our logo up, y'all have gone, it's nothing about we. We're just delighted to be facilitators of the process. Folks, this dry lips really getting to me now. It affected me. It's affected me. Right? It's affected me. Well, little chapstick there where you need it. Right? But we're happy to have you folks. There was a as I was saying before I was interrupted, before I interrupted myself, there was a protest yesterday outside of GCom High Street location demanding clean voters list, biometrics, and you know this stuff, folks. You know this stuff. You know, demanding all of those things. And as we get into the morning papers today, you know, well, let us turn our attention to some of that. All right, we want to turn our attention to some of that. As we transition into the morning papers, folks, take a look and take a listen. Some of what went on out there yesterday at GCom. As we turn our attention, Ricky Rambeau. Ricky, I can see in just a little bit. Ricky says that Jaglio said we should have biometrics in opposition. You know what? Let us start with that. You know, let me see if we can pull that up, guys. What do y'all think? We can get that? It's gonna take us a long time. Let's see if maybe we can start there. When these same jagabats, you know, were asking for biometrics, same people, you know, we're asking for all the things. We're not asking for nothing new and strange. Take a look and take a listen at that. You know, thank you, MP Ricky Rambeau. You know, take a listen. We can start with Jaglio, and then we can show you guys what transpired out there in front of GCom yesterday.
We are going to make changes with our commissioners. We are going to argue for several changes at GCom. First of all, we believe that Surge Valley does not have what it takes to deliver free and fair elections.
And this is since the last election?
Yes, we believe that he has succumbed to pressure, that he has allowed this institution to act in a partisan manner, and he is in charge. He can't put the blame on the chief elections officer. He's in charge of GCom, and therefore the party has called for him to resign. But further to that, we need to make sure that the list is cleaned up so that the abuse that we had, where when you had sympathetic presiding officers to the opposition, allowing people who should not have voted to vote because they had extra ballots for people who had migrated and are dead in the polling stations, that if you have a new clean list, that will minimize that happening because they would not have the ballots in the polling station. Secondly, we need enhanced biometrics, because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object. They allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening. We are going to push for electronic voting. Now, you have a system where you can do both. You can vote in the machine, and then it gives you, when you finish voting with the machine with enhanced biometrics, it emits a small paper which shows a ballot, which shows how you voted, which you can then, like some systems have this method, which you can then put in the ballot box. So you have both systems. You can only access the voting through enhanced biometrics, like an iris scan, but you safeguard against presiding officers or anyone else acting capriciously and giving extra ballots out to people. But it's a dual system. It's both electronic and manual. That is paper trail.
Yes.
So we're going to be pushing for that. We have to ensure a fair system of hiring in GCom, a fair system of hiring people, and that people who are affiliated with political parties do not work in GCom, who have been openly partisan. There's several other things that we are going to pursue.
Yeah, folks, that was just the other day, That was just the other day, and I want to thank MP Ricky Rambeau for reminding us of that. I want to thank the MP for reminding us of that. That was just it wasn't so long ago. And that's what he said, and that's why folks were out there yesterday, because they're hypocrites. Really and truly, they're hypocrites. And that's why folks were out there yesterday demanding those very things. Biometrics, a clean voters list, and all of that. We got some people going to be visiting with us from the European Union, the European Commission, and they want to know how far we've gotten on some electoral issues. Well, they're going to be able to hang their head in shame, because they should be ashamed of themselves. They wanted that new GCom commissioner, a new GCom chairman, because they felt the last one was taking political directives. Well, we feel the same with Claudette. So oblige us. Clean voters list, biometrics, and all the other things. Those were some of the concerns raised by people on the front line yesterday, folks. Those were some of the issues raised by persons who were out there yesterday. Take a look and take a listen of some of what we saw and heard in front of GCom yesterday.
And we out here, GCom. We out here calling for the resignation of GCom chairman, Travis Singh, because our people, Guyanese, do not trust her anymore and have faith in her anymore. And we believe Claudette should go. And we're also calling for a clean voters list, because the list is a fraud list. This list has been expired since in 2020. And we are calling for a clean voters list. And also, there are some characters in GCom we believe should be moved from there also. And we will be out here until we get what we're asking for.
I'm here because what we're doing here is not for me, it is not for you, it's not only for the people you're seeing out here, but it's for generations to come. And I'm here in support of the folks here. As a matter of fact, I'm supporting the call for a clean voters list. We sounded this call a while ago. As a matter of fact, Baruch Jagdeo, when he was leader of the opposition, he shouted for a clean voters list. And now when we're echoing those same very calls, they're making a big fuss about it. We have seen coming out of the 2020 elections, how many dead people voted. We saw how many persons who were living out of Guyana and did not return here voted. In lead up to this local government elections, we have seen a replay of just what we saw in 2020. And that is why I'm out here, echoing the call and making the demands that we should have a clean voters list. If the PPP think that they can win the elections, then why not? Go ahead, clean the list up. Take the dead people off. Take those who are not here, who would not have been registered, take them off and let's have a clean list. And let's go to the starting line, and at the finishing line, we are going to see who the real champions are or who the real champion is. Now you talk about riggers and you talk about sanctimonious gangsters, but here again we've seen the PPP have proven to the nation, to this nation, and to the world at large that they are actually the real gangsters and the sanctimonious ones at that. Because we saw the vice president apologizing to some people who they used the mother's name, the mother's dead, and they used her name. And we saw him apologizing to those families. So you can imagine if he could apologize for one, how many more dead names are there on that list? And the fact that he has apologized is saying to us that he knows exactly what is going on. But the thing is, they weren't sure, or they did not know that we were scrutinizing those lists. And because of the kind of scrutiny that we would have established, we were able to pick up all of those dead people's names who are on this list. This call is not one that is now being engineered. It is one that the vice president, the man who's sitting now as vice president, when he was opposition leader, he called for a clean voters list. And so if he can call for a clean voters list, then why not? Let's echo the same call and call for a clean voters list.
Oh yes, I'm out here again, another Tuesday. After so many Tuesdays, I'm here not trying to have. We want the clean voters list. We need continuous door-to-door registration. Because if you do the continuous registration, you will have the plurality of dead voters, their signatures and everything. But if they were to go and do a door-to-door registration, that would have been sure that we were cleaning the list. And we cannot go to another election with all the atrocities that is on this list. Now, a few weeks ago, just at the cusp of nomination, there came Barrett trying to say he's apologizing for the death signature on the list. Now, Anil Giddens has said in his GCom training that anything that is not in the manuals, that is death signatures and so on, he will have to eke out. Can't see you will be taken to court, you will be charged, taken to court, a hasty trial, a long jail sentence, and a hefty fine. Now, if the vice president has apologized for something that has happened during the nomination, that means a crime has been committed. And once there is a crime, they should be given the full treatment. Whether it's the president, the prime minister, the vice president, they must be answerable for crimes committed. And once you come and apologize for something, you're saying to the entire world, something wrong has happened, hence I apologize. And the wrong that has happened, it is chargeable, jail, and a fine. And if Barra Jagdeo has come to clear his conscience, I think there is no other alternative but having marching up the court steps and answering for the crimes that are being committed constantly at GCom. And I think we should have GCom revamped and a new organization should be there to man the electoral process in Guyana, because GCom has outlived its usefulness. And you know, when you get the old house, it has got rodents, snake, crapo, dog, cat, all them kind of things. So what you do, you go and break it down and you build a new house. So I think it's time for GCom to go and get a new organization that will be clean to manage our electoral process. That is my line.
Thank you very much. Yep, apparently we got to put our very own Rhonda Lane as chairman of GCom. Rhonda seems to understand what has to obtain. Rhonda seems to know what ought to be obtaining there at GCom. You know, we gotta bring in Rhonda. Enter Rhonda at one scene one, please and thank you. Rhonda for GCom chair. Rhonda for GCom chair. We invite Rhonda. You know, folks understand what's happening. It's only these boys playing stupid. It's only these boys, they're playing stupid. You know, we'd say, hey, they're playing dead to see what kind of funeral they get. They're playing dead to see what kind of funeral they will have. You know, the Trinidadians put it another way. They say they play dead to catch Kobo alive. Playing dead to catch Kobo. Kobo is jumping board. You know, that's how they describe it. You're playing dead to catch Kobo alive. Folks, do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. We saw a jetted there just now. Do let us know if you're reading us loud and clear. Good folks, one of the headlines we're following this morning. If you've just joined us, you're late. We wanted to head into some of what we're following with GCom. One of the first headlines we spot in the morning papers: wife of targeted police prosecutor. You know, she's asking for the police to ensure his safety, like any good wife would have. And this is Police Prosecutor Corporal Hemchan Sukna. You know, quite recently, he was heading to work and his vehicle, you know, people opened gunfire. Them boys opened fire on his vehicle. The second time in 18 months. That's the kind of country we're living in. Regretfully, that is the kind of country we're living in. And so Indrani Prasad, the wife of the police prosecutor, she said, you know, this second shooting, of course, as well as the first, has left him scared for his life and that of his families, you know, that of his family. Indrani Prasad, they're asking, you know, for the police force to ensure his safety. I'm certain they've been able by now to sift through some of those cases. Right? And they know, you know, what is that sensitive case that Indrani's husband, you know, Corporal Hemchan Sukna, they know by now what is that case that is causing, you know, angst among them boys. Clearly there's a sign they want him to back off or something. Clearly there's a sign they want him to ease up on something. Andrew Griffith, Donald Joseph said someone wants him dead. Hemchan Sukna, someone wants him dead. Yep, that's what's happening there. You think it's just random? You think it's just because he's a police? No, something, some matter is engaging his attention, right? But like a journalist, the police got to pursue the truth wherever it leads. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them as a family. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Look at this other headline we're following with folks as we run through the morning papers. Look at this other headline we're following. Right? Do we have it? Other headline we're following. We told you we're going to be having some visitors. The EU wants to know how far we've gone with our electoral reform. So we got a delegation that's coming, and then I think they tell us the vice president of the European Commission is coming as well. Right? So this EU delegation, they want to know how far we've gone in electoral reforms. You know, that's why we started where we started. Them boys should hang their heads in collective shame, because all of the what do you call them? The observation of the observers, the reports of the observers, said that GCom is too politicized. And reform has to begin at the level of GCom. And I mean bringing in our operations manager, aka the deputy chief elections officer. It doesn't mean that these reforms got to be meaningful, deep, and wide. Right? In a sense that, in a way that imbues confidence in the system. That's what the folks are talking about. In that way that imbues confidence in the system. But them boys ain't what? Them boys ain't wonder. Out front parts, so them boys come back. They wonder. Right? So these folks are going to come and they're going to try to assess where we are in the process. You know, where we are in the process. And more than that, how can they assist? Yep. We're grateful. We are very, very grateful for their intervention. Very, very grateful for their intervention. You remember the Alpha Hotel murder recently, where that wife was killed at the hands of her husband? Well, he's been charged. Junior Haley, he's been charged, stabbed her several times. The 52-year-old vendor from Maikoni stabbed her to death in Alpha Hotel. The postmortem examination said she died from incisive wounds. Junior Haley has been remanded for the murder of Kim Haley. He's 52, she was 46. And he has been remanded for the murder of Kim Haley, the wife, in room 235 there at Alpha Hotel. According to reports, he had been abusive to his wife, which had caused her to move out of his residence about 2 months prior, and she had relocated to Georgetown. She died of, again, multiple incised wounds, stabbed to death. He's been remanded. Yep. Court got a responsibility to send a very strong, very, very strong signal. The courts got a responsibility. Thoughts and prayers go out to their entire family. Our thoughts and prayers. You know, we've been following here all of these, the new side hustle on top of everything. People trying something. You know, the economy seems to be only benefiting a 1%. People are finding a very hard time to cope. A very, very hard time coping. How things by you, Candy? Candy Deline Inderjit, Criven and Skeldon, Andrew, how things by you economically? You know? You're making it? How the family? Horace, Seymour George, how y'all doing this morning? Huh? Diane Abrams, folks, a lot of people suffering badly. And I saw MP Ramsarup on the live earlier. And he could tell us, you know, MP Ramsarup was there with us. Is he still on the live with us? MP was there with us a couple weekends ago in Vreeden Hoop. He was there with us. We spoke to a lot of those vendors out there. Most of them got to be turning to something else to help bring in a fine change. People who selling vegetables got to start cooking them vegetables now and selling it, selling food. They're hurting. And I told you on our podcast recently, it's how they started their response to us. I want to be racial. That's how they started. And this is our Indo-Guyanese, our Indo brothers and sisters. I want to be racial. But since this government come in, things tough. So lots of people picking up a side hustle. Things tight. Royden Ward says. Royden Ward. Things tight. It's true. That's what they tell us. We got turned to a side hustle. Fisherman jail for possession of cocaine and smoking utensils. Yep. They're telling us Roy Morgan, 35-year-old fisherman from around by Candy side, Skeldon quarantine. He was jailed on Monday after pleading guilty to the possession of 6.4 grams of cocaine and smoking utensil. Yep. We've been chronicling these cases. Housewife now selling marijuana for side hustle, cocaine, you know, all them pills, ecstasy, you know, all them pills, side hustle because things are so wrong, things are so bad. People got mouths to feed, they got families to take care of. That don't make it right. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it makes it right. Because we've said here consistently, if you can't do the time, forget the crime. Lover Lincott, out front parts, Andrew, Yolanda, Marlon Francois. That's what we've been seeing. It's all these side hustles, folks. You know, it's all these side hustles for us. It's all these side hustles for us. So we're going to turn our attention a little bit, folks, to some of the stuff that we are tracking internationally. You know, we're going to do it. Some of the stuff we've been tracking internationally, regionally, and then we're going to circle back. Suzette Washington, good to see you here, Suzette. Good to see you here. And all the other guys who are joining us. Yolanda! You know, things look very tight in GT. Now, so one of our friends telling us here. Henry Rodney, Sharon Castillo Edwards. Things tight all over. Some of the stuff we're tracking, folks, internationally. Then we're going to circle back. We're going to circle. All right? Some of the things we're tracking internationally, folks. We're moving quick now. Mike Pence is inching towards a presidential run. You know, a lot of folks vexed with Mike Pence. He wasn't a stronger leader. You know, once Trump, you know, takes center stage, all them is back down, quite like church mouse. Happens here as well. Trump was found guilty of sexual abuse and defamation yesterday. The court awarded $5 million to Jean Carroll. They shied away from a rape charge. But as people perhaps sensing now a turning in the political field there in the USA, where Trump status as a frontrunner might not only diminish, he might fall out completely. Right? Pence seemed to be stepping forward again. You know. But a lot of people vexed with Trump. That January 6th thing left a bad taste in some people's mouth. We can follow more of that later on. Damascus, this hot area, car bomb went off. 5 policemen, they tell us, Middle East politics. You know, Israel and Palestine, those areas, hotbed areas. Bloodshed almost on a daily basis. You know, warring neighbors. Car bomb went off, and they're telling us several police officers have been wounded. Our front part says, Mike is Mike. In relation to our last news item, Mike is Mike. Russia blaming Ukraine for a drone that seems to have been one of those suicide drones, quote unquote suicide. You know? They fly the drones into some building or vehicle and it explodes. It says Ukraine. You know, when they doing all the damage on Ukraine, nobody crime foul. Now a little drone, you know, a little drone explodes somewhere in Russia, and them boys, they're not able, you know. They said the drone damaged 2 homes, right, and a property in what is called the Belgorod region there in Russia. I've noticed like there have been more incursions into Russian territory of recent. right? They over there pounding the Ukraine and a little drone. Right? The village is called, is it Ovaka? They say it's 25 miles from the border with Ukraine. This is right there. They must do their own thing too. Must have set peace and all for all you know. Right? They didn't say there were any fatalities as a result of this. A library and a post office were among the buildings damaged. A library and a post office. Right? This is all wage war with the people. What are you crying out for now? Right? Oh, in Pakistan, good folks. You know, the cricketer turned prime minister who was ousted was arrested recently. Well, some folks didn't take it so lightly, and so there have been protests, violent protests there in Pakistan for the release of Imran Khan, very popular figure right now in Pakistani politics, a very popular figure, and so there've been shouts and calls for his release. Are we monitoring that? If it escalates or not? Far from over. This saga here with the arrest of Imran Khan, former Prime Minister. Far from over. Circling back, good folks. Maryland and out front parts, Candy and Hector, Isabella Butters, circling back with some of those things happening in the region. Good folks. Some of the things we are following happening in the region. Savannah Page says, Jack New, the boss of all wrongdoings, must be jailed. We hear you, Savannah. We hear you. The boss of all wrongdoings. Regionally, however, before we come back to them boys. Now, regionally, again, the UN is voicing its concerns over what is happening there in Haiti, the decay of law and order, degradation, moral fabric of an entire nation. UN again raising its voice and saying that you got to give support to stop the gang violence there in Haiti. You know, people are just dying senselessly, right? What's the RSS doing? What CARICOM doing? See RSS renditioning people from Barbados to Trinidad. What are they doing? Saw them renditioning some folks. Well, a particular gentleman, an arms dealer there in Trinidad. What are they doing for Haiti? The regional security, whatever they call themselves. Right? Whatever they call themselves. But the UN asking for more support to stop the violence in Haiti. Stop the violence in Haiti. Remember we told you about this silk, Trinidad and Tobago, senior council, and that was given to several persons. 17 persons received the status of senior council was conferred on them. Right? People now calling out the presidents, Christine Kangaloo. There's some friends, family, and favorites. In that list was her husband. Recommendations in their system. Recommendations from the prime minister, who has the real power. Recommendations are given from the prime minister to the president, who approves those names. Her brother and her husband, their names were also in that 17 or 18 persons. And people are saying this is just another example. Friends, family, and favorites. Right? The Prime Minister says there was none of that involved. He said, given the criteria used, he said, I want to quote, he said, I would want to know where the individuals stand in their profession, not who the family is. Right? I would want to know where the individuals stand in their profession. Right? Not only who the family is, not who they are married to, not who is their cousin, uncle, or brother. Right? Going on to stress that that was his number one consideration. The quality of lawyer the brother was, the husband was. And not having the conferral of silk or senior counsel be based on the fact that the president was the husband, was the wife or the sister. That's what Rowley is saying there. You remember we had some folks here who took Granger to court, challenging that he was reposing him the power to confer senior counsel. Yeah. Then when Ali come in, the same man takes senior counsel. The same man takes senior counsel on the IDIC. Yolanda Thomas says conflict of interest. That's how it's being viewed. In the Trinidadian experience, conflict of interest. Yeah, remember when Timothy Jonas challenged Granger? Say Granger got no right to confer. He has no authority to confer silk. That's court matter. The court said yes, the president has the remit. And same Timothy come and take senior counsel from Irfan Ali. Same Timothy. Right? Well, them guardians there now, boy. Valerie Clark, well, them guardians there now. What happened to the National Guardian Award? Outfront Parks? Right? Whatever happened to the National Guardian Award? It's all them challenges we got, you know. All of those challenges we contending with. Whatever happened to the National Guardian Award? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. Who's sharing the life this morning? The folks challenged senior counsel being conferred under President Granger. And folks, the same people come back and say, hey, I can take it different. That's how some of y'all, you know, hypocritical. Legally hypocritical. That's how some of y'all hypocritical. Yeah, them boys. You all remember we were talking about this story just last night. This is the People's National Party there in Jamaica. Am I calling it right? I feel like I'm not getting the name of the party. PNP, People's National Party. Right? They got their own thing there in Jamaica. You know, some reporters wanted to get an update from that party a couple of days ago, and they sent it on the headquarters. Apparently, the Deputy General Secretary told them, only if you're wearing green, you could come in. Right? Some of the things that were said, and on this recording of what transpired, some other supporters of the party apparently were heard making some threats of rape to one of the female journalists. You know, the Jamaica, the People's National Party, correct. And both people from the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party have condemned what they call this attack on media workers at the headquarters of the People's National Party. Right? They said they heard these, somebody, you know, uttering threats of rape. And then the Deputy General Secretary saying, if you got tan green, you could come in. He has since apologized. You know, he has since apologized, and the he has since apologized for his untenable, unacceptable words. Right? And so folks have been calling the whole fiasco reprehensible. Robert Morgan, who is the Minister with responsibility for information, right? He says a new low. It's a new low in Jamaican politics. Yep, a new low. And we agree with him. Now some of what we're following, guys, out of Jamaica. And I made reference to this, the Brent Thomas affair. Brent Thomas is this arms dealer in Trinidad, who the regional security system, the RSS, they asked people, say waiting for the report from them to be released on the Dion Bascom saga, still waiting on that to be released by April them. But they swooped down on this businessman, he's Trinidadian, he was at a hotel in Barbados, and rendition the fellow to Trinidad. I think where he was needed for questioning by the authorities. Rendition the fellow. Well, Rowley says now he know about that. DAG said he had no knowledge of that. Something to that extent. Well, the Jamaican, a court said, a court recently in Trinidad said that Brent Thomas was abducted. He was abducted from his hotel. Well, the Barbadian government ran out. He said, no. Miriam said, no abduction happened. He was apprehended. He wasn't abducted by the Barbadian police. He was apprehended, put on a plane. This is serious stuff, you know. This is serious stuff. Right? Put on a plane back to Trinidad. Well, the opposition leader there in Trinidad, Kamala Bissessar, former prime minister, she's been asking for some questions. Rowley tells you, write me up and ask them. He said he ain't got no knowledge what transpired. He was not aware what was taking place. He said, write me up. They said no abduction. The Barbadians have said no abduction happened. You know, he was apprehended, not abducted. You know, we got our own basket of issues in the 592. We got our own basket of issues. There's plenty too. It's not some. And John, Diane Abrams, Hector, Old Front Parts, Glenford. Look some what we're tracking. We told you the European Commission Vice President, he's going to be dropping by. He's going to be stopping in. Yep. Probably want to see how them electoral reforms, you know, going for yourself. Because them might could talk a good talk, you know. They could talk a good talk. But when it comes time to deliver all his promises, you know, this is the Vice President of the European Commission, first Vice President of the European Commission is one Mr. Franz Timmermans. And Mr. Timmermans coming to see himself what's going on here. I think this delegation that's coming about electoral reforms, they're going to be meeting with stakeholders. I think they're going to be meeting with parties of the opposition, APNU. They're going to be meeting with stakeholders, trying to understand exactly what's happening. So again, folks, you have a delegation coming, and then, as we said, the Vice President of the European Commission, Franz Timmermans, he's coming as well. No doubt. Them boys going to try and save face. No doubt. They're good at that, put on a good show. No doubt. You know, that being said, the International Republican Institute, they have said they've been working here with political parties, and they have said that greater cross-party collaboration is needed. The PPP think them alone could run this country. That's how they're crazy. The folks are mad. They believe them alone, Yolanda, Mike Welchman, Michael Reed, they alone could run this country. Better think again. Better think again. And at the level of, I think, members of parliament who were part of this training, a part of this exercise, continually, I know the members of the opposition have been continually engaging with the International Republican Institute, building capacity. You know, greater collaboration needed. But how we can get greater collaboration? Some of the committees in parliament that perhaps should be facilitating those kinds of collaboration don't meet. Critical committees, you know, to give oversights to some of the sectors, you know, give oversight. Never meet in 3 years. Why? Because the people don't want them to meet. How we can get greater cross-party collaboration? I can see them by say, well, Children, they're on beside now. That's cross-party collaboration. That's cross-party collaboration. Folks, in my Norton voice, go in Jesus' name. Say that and say that is cross-party collaboration. Is it so? Is it so? Look, let's be following good forward. For those of you who missed it, the suspect, 25 years old, right? They said this. They haven't revealed his identity, have they? Have been apprehended. He said he took responsibility. He's confessed. Took responsibility for the gruesome murder of St. Mary's High School former headmaster. Many other hats Sir Mars wore. I think he was part of the board of the Cooperative Credit Union, the Guyana Cooperative Credit Union. I don't know if I'm calling the name correctly. Was part of the administrative, part of the administration of the Guyana Teachers Union as well. You know, gone too soon. Gone too soon. So this is one of the things we're following this morning as well. The young man said he has taken responsibility for that. You know, it's a sad, sad story. A sad, sad story. And clearly people don't have too much qualms with taking a life. You know, the respect for human life. Lord have mercy. We don't have that too much in this country. We don't have that too much. You know, rest in peace, Sir Mars. Thoughts and prayers go to his family. You know, why is Sukai dodging questions? Inquiring minds want to know. You know, it's never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. And folks like Pauline Sukai. You know, many people believe that Pauline has outlived their usefulness, you know, in politics. Pauline should have knit in someplace in her old age relaxing. Right. The Amerindian People's Association, the APA, they've said here according to Kaichen News, they've taken note of the recent sentiments expressed by the Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, where she explicitly stated that government lacks the authority to authorize any mining or logging on indigenous titled lands. Right? She said that government lacks the authority to authorize anybody to mine on indigenous titled lands. Report goes on to say that on Thursday, May 4th, during a press conference, Sukai said that government has no authority to provide permission to any outsiders because the law is clear. Right? That is what she said. Right? But apparently when asked, why did the very government, why did the very PPP administration, right, give authority for mining at Chinese landing, you know, and other places? Could answer. That's the questions they sidestep and run from. Because there's hypocrites. They're hypocrites. Hypocrites. They could come and say, oh, government can't authorize, and them doing all the authorizing. Who could mine where? And this is on indigenous title lands. Just like how there's hypocrites on the clean voters list. The same thing they asked for 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they're running from now. Biometrics, they advocated for. Now they're running from. They're hypocrites. Gwen Anderson, welcome. They are hypocrites. That's why you should be dodging critical questions. They say one thing and do something totally different. Damn hypocrites. Look how you can come to this country and lose your life. Just like that. Lose your life just like that. They're telling us this vacationing Guyanese lost his life. His vehicle ran off the road. You know? That's how you're going to left your new home. Come and die in Guyana. Christian in that, Lo Chan, they're telling us. Car he was driving collided with a culvert at Versailles Public Road, Region 3, on the West Bank. Christian Nat Lo Chan, 32 years old, lived in the United States, but was vacationing in Guyana and staying in good fortune. Right? The motor car PVV 2319 had 2 male passengers at the time, in which rather ran off the road, as they said there, and collided with a culvert at Versailles. Yep. You know, I got some folks who believe when it's your time, it's your time. So had it been here or, you know, elsewhere, Lo Chan would have lost his life. Some people says we could avoid if we, if only you're cautious. Let's take care, nonetheless. Thoughts and prayers go to Christian Lo Chan's family. Let us take caution as we go out there, and we negotiate those roads. Y'all know we got some of the most dangerous roadways in the world. We got some of the most dangerous roadways in the world. Don't operate like y'all know. That's the other pandemic. The carnage on our roadways and waterways. Nonetheless, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Lo Chan family. Our thoughts and our prayers. Finally, before we let you guys go, them boys in Guyana, I know if it's the middleman or just the end people. And it told us we like middlemen. And in Ferguson, who we saw on the picket line yesterday, we asked her about that. She wrote a very strong letter in the press a couple of days ago. She said, them boys like middlemen too much. Right? But Sheikh Dalmud Al Maktoum with the Sputnik V's, another Maktoum now with the ID cards. Well, the press says that this ID team, they're in Guyana. Right? In Guyana. Can government just unilaterally buy ID cards? Huh? Isn't GCom the authorized body for this? Because government just say, hey, Rock and come in with ID cards? It's just like that. Persons are saying no, and the government overstepping, the bounds. That's what some of the folks tell us. Government overstepping their bounds. You want to believe them, Listen to some of what Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson told us yesterday out there in the protest line, in addition to commenting on this issue with ID cards. Take a look and take a listen.
I am out here basically to stand with ordinary Guyanese as it relates to our upcoming local government elections, which will be held on the 12th of June 2023. And the concerns surround what would have occurred leading up to nomination for these elections. And after nominations, we discovered what really transpired predominantly in PPPC stronghold areas, whereby you have dead people signing on backers form. You got persons who are not in the jurisdiction, they too signed, and these calls were made. I'm aware that our commissioners would have engaged, the GCom chairman here, bringing to her attention what is really happening. And Sharon, you cannot be preaching democracy, fair fair elections, free and fair elections, when we have these issues, these issues that warrants immediate attention. And I'm extremely surprised at Claudette Singh for her non-action and taking the relevant actions against these egregious acts that were committed. And what I find very strangely, Sherrod, is this whole issue that I'm still grappling with concerning, the opposition should file a petition at the magistrate's court seeking. I don't understand that. Where in the law suggests that to me? I thought a petition comes after an elections, and whichever party is aggrieved would move to the High Court seeking, remedy to those issues that were discovered throughout the elections. So I want to say to Guyanese that we all have to come together and add our voices to this call of free and fair elections. You heard, Sherrod, Jack Deere is on record after the May 2015 elections in October. He said he wants a clean voters list. He said biometrics. He said electronic voting. He said the then chairman, Dr. Steve Surajbali, must go. So, Sherrod, what has happened to these calls? Isn't it the very calls that the opposition is making? Because we recognize that there are major issues surrounding one, the voters list. It's heavily bloated. A population of less than 800,000 people. The last general and regional elections, you had a population of 661,000 voters on your list. That in itself should say something to us that we have a bloated voters list. So that we must get clean. The other thing, Sherrod, we are calling for biometrics because if we have biometrics voting, it would erase many of the egregious acts that we saw leading up to the nomination day for these upcoming local government elections. So again, Sherrod, these elections are critical, and all that I can say is to encourage each and every Guyanese to add their voices to the call of one, a clean voters list. Two, we ain't going to know elections other than we get biometric voting. Thirdly, is that we have lost all confidence in Claudette Singh. She has done this nation an injustice. And by right, what she should do is do the honorable thing. Pick up your bag, raise from your seat, and leave graciously. Leave graciously. Let us find competent people who can effectively manage an elections and give us fair results. So I say again, persons should come out here every Tuesday and join in this call, because at the end of the day, we are all affected. We are all affected. So my presence out here is by merely adding my voice to the call of one, a clean voters list. Two, let me get biometric voting. Thirdly, fraud is fraud. Jack Deere should be investigated. And fourthly, Claudette Singh must go.
MP Ferguson, before I let you go, you wrote a very scathing letter in the press quite recently, saying that what we all know, the people like backdoor, and more than liking backdoor, they like middlemen as well. Talk to us about that, because it has a touches on concerns ID cards. Talk to us about that.
Well, Sherrod, the entire nation is aware of this new initiative the government is seeking to address, to bring on stream, and that is the e-ID card thing. Yes, I did write a letter to the editor expressing my concern. As a legislator, Sherrod, I haven't seen anything coming before the National Assembly. I haven't seen the government hasn't released anything much as it relates to why we should go this way. You just cannot wake up one morning because somebody in some other country said, well, look, this might be good for your country. It's so much it's going to cost. Or you just close your eyes and sign blindly 35 million US dollars. 35 million US dollars, Sherrod. No, man. What I am saying, Sherrod, or what I have said in that letter is a clear description that I've given that this government is not transparent. Everything that this government do is it got shady movements behind it. We would have seen with the Sputnik V vaccine. When I had Sherrod, it was a middleman. They didn't purchase.
We still don't know how much
Exactly. We didn't purchase directly from Russia. You understand me? The company that is manufacturing or would have manufactured the Sputnik V vaccine. What else we recognize, Sherrod? We heard through the Vice news reporter of what Sue said that he and Jagdeo, as reported, are very close. And Jagdeo himself admitted that Sue's father is well known to probably those in the People's Progressive Party Civic, and they have been around for some time. So all of the infrastructure arrangements, agreements, who does arrange these things? It's the middleman. So you understand me? So with this new ID card that they're bringing on stream, again, Sherrod, who involved a middleman, said clearly says to this nation that this government, they're not accountable to us as a people, and thirdly, they're not transparent. And this is a regime that ought not to be trusted. And I trust that come June the 12th, 2023, we send a strong signal to them that we have had enough of the corruption. We have had enough of incompetence. We have had enough of non-transparency. We have had enough of non-accountability. And we gotta show them by one vote that we reject them through the ballots.
Thank you very much, MP Ferguson. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Bye-bye.
Yep, welcome back. That was Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson. Folks, yep. Annette know the whole thing. Annette know the whole thing. Yep, we got to stay sharp. We got to stay vigilant out there, good folks. Sharp and vigilant. And we want to let you know before we let you go, folks, if you're looking for a good Justice of the Peace and Commissioner votes to affidavit, look no further, the Alistair Collins firm. Look no further. As a Commissioner votes to affidavit and a Justice of the Peace, the firm provides expert guidance and support for all your documentation needs. They're down there at the Callian Mall on Lamaha Street, between Camp and Waterloo Streets. Callian Mall on Lamaha Street, Monday through Saturday. 649-6410, 685-6448. 649-6410, 685-6448. The Alistair Collins firm. Yep. Folks, we want to beg your indulgence as well. Help us to keep moving forward. Program after program, week after week, day after day. We're available via Cash App and Zelle and PayPal. This is how we kept going. And we're available via MoneyGram and Western Union, MMG as well, folks. Send us a donation today. Make a decision to send us a donation so that we can keep going. Thanks for joining us. That's it from our end. That's it from our end, good folks. Thanks for spending this time with us. Means the world to us. It means the world to us, good folks. Thanks for joining us. And all of you wonderful folks out there. I see so many of you joining us. Onessa Ward Dean is with us this morning. Thanks for joining. Glenford Gordon. That's going to do it for us at this end. Until we see you guys later on in the day. Glenford and Little Pratt, good to have you here. Glenford, good to have Donna McDonald, Andrew Griffith. Thanks for joining us this morning, guys. That's going to do it for us. Share the live before you go, folks. Smash that emoji button for us as well. We're going to see you later on in the day. Stay safe. That's it. Stay safe, good folks. Stay safe.